My fiancé said, "Stop introducing me as your future wife. It makes me look like I settled." I replied, "Good to know." That evening, I quietly removed my name from every guest list she had added me to. 2 days later, she walked into a brunch with her friends, and the moment she saw what was placed at her seat, she forgot how to breathe. I'm Owen, 33, and 3 days ago my fiancé told me that being engaged to me made her look like she'd settled for less. By the time she sat down at brunch with her friends and saw the envelope I'd arranged to have delivered, she realized that I'd decided not to be anyone's consolation prize anymore. I'd been with Andrea for almost 3 years, engaged for 5 months. We met at a work conference when I was 30 and she was 31. She worked in corporate law, I'm in finance. We hit it off immediately, same sense of humor, similar backgrounds, both wanted marriage and kids eventually. The relationship progressed naturally. We moved in together after a year, got engaged last spring, set a wedding date for next October. But about 2 months ago, something shifted. Andrea started making comments about my career, my social circle, my potential. Nothing overtly cruel, just these little digs that added up. "You're comfortable where you are, aren't you? Don't you want to aim higher? My friends' partners are all directors or VPs by now. I make good money. Not executive level, but solid 6 figures. I'm happy with my work-life balance." I thought Andrea was too. Apparently not. 3 weeks ago, we went to her friend Vanessa's engagement party. Big event, lots of Andrea's social circle there. When we walked in, I introduced us to some people Andrea wanted to network with. "Hi, I'm Owen, and this is my fiancée, Andrea." Later that night in the car, she brought it up. "Can you not do that?" "Do what?" "Introduce me as your fiancé. It's just weird." "Weird how? We are engaged." "I know, but you don't need to announce it like that. It makes me feel like you're, I don't know, claiming ownership or something." I let it go. Figured she was tired, the party had been long, whatever. But then 2 nights ago, we were at a dinner with some of her colleagues. Old law school friends, people she'd known for years. When someone asked how we knew each other, I said, "Andrea's my future wife. We're getting married next October." The table went quiet for a second. Then conversation resumed. But Andrea's face had gone tight. On the drive home, she exploded. "I asked you not to introduce me like that." "Like what? As my future wife? That's literally what you are." "It makes me look like I settled. Like I couldn't do better, so I just picked you." I felt like I'd been punched. "You think marrying me makes you look like you settled?" "That's not what I meant." "That's exactly what you meant. You just said introducing you as my future wife makes you look like you settled. How else am I supposed to interpret that?" "You're twisting my words. I'm just saying you don't need to be so public about it. My friends are all marrying doctors, executives, entrepreneurs. And you're fine. You're good at what you do, but you're not ambitious like them. When you announce me as your fiancé, it highlights that. Highlights that you're marrying someone you consider beneath you. I didn't say beneath me. You said I make you look like you settled." "Same thing." She went quiet. Didn't apologize, didn't take it back. Just said she was tired and went to bed. I sat in the living room for probably 2 hours thinking. Then I made some decisions. First, I pulled up every event Andrea had RSVP'd us for over the next few months. Her friend's wedding shower, a law firm gala, her college roommate's birthday party, several brunches and dinners. For all of them, she'd added me as her +1 without asking. Just assumed I'd come along as her accessory, her partner she was apparently embarrassed to claim. I went through each event and removed myself from the guest lists. Sent polite emails to hosts saying I wouldn't be able to attend, apologizing for the late notice. Some of them were Andrea's close friends who had my email from previous events. I kept the messages brief and professional. Then I did something else. I contacted Andrea's best friend, Melissa. We'd always gotten along well. I asked if she'd be willing to help me with something at this weekend's brunch, a group thing Andrea had planned with her inner circle. Melissa was hesitant until I explained what Andrea had said. Then she agreed immediately. The next morning, Friday, Andrea acted like nothing had happened. She was getting ready for work, talking about wedding planning, asking if I'd confirmed our RSVP for her friend Sarah's wedding shower that weekend. About that, I said. I canceled my RSVP. What? Why? Because you're embarrassed to introduce me as your fiancé. So I figured you'd rather go to these events solo. Avoid the whole settled thing. Owen, don't be ridiculous. I'm not being ridiculous. I'm respecting your wishes. You don't want people knowing you're marrying me because it makes you look bad. So go to your events alone. Problem solved. You're being childish. I'm being clear. You said what you said, I heard you. Now I'm acting accordingly. She stared at me. So you're just not coming to Sarah's shower? Or any of the other events you signed us up for? I went through the list last night, removed myself from everything. You can't just... I can, and I did. If you're embarrassed to be engaged to me, don't bring me. Simple. I left for work. She texted me throughout the day, first angry, then defensive, then trying to backtrack. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. You're overreacting. Can we please just talk about this? I responded once. I heard exactly what you meant. Enjoy your brunch Sunday. Update 1, Saturday. Andrea tried a different approach. She was apologetic, said she'd been stressed about work and hadn't meant to hurt me, said obviously she was proud to be marrying me, that I was misunderstanding her concerns. So you're not embarrassed to introduce me as your future husband? I asked. No, of course not. Then why did you say it makes you look like you settled? She couldn't answer that. Just kept saying I was taking it out of context, that she'd phrased it badly. The context was pretty clear, I said. You think I'm not impressive enough for your social circle. You think being engaged to me reflects poorly on you. That's not phrasing. That's how you actually feel. Owen, please. Are you going to the brunch tomorrow? Yes, but I want you to come. Please. Let's just show up together and move past this. I'm not going. You'll have to explain to your friends why I'm not there. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. That you're embarrassed to be engaged to someone who makes you look like you settled. She didn't like that. We spent Saturday mostly in separate rooms. That evening, she asked one more time if I'd reconsider coming to the brunch. I said no. She went to bed frustrated. What Andrea didn't know was that I'd already coordinated with Melissa. The brunch was at a nice restaurant, one of those trendy, bottomless mimosa places Andrea's friend group loved. Melissa had arranged with the restaurant to have something delivered to Andrea's seat before everyone arrived, an envelope with Andrea's name on it. Inside the envelope was a letter I'd written, and a copy of our wedding venue cancellation confirmation. Sunday morning, Andrea got ready for brunch, asked me one last time if I was coming. I said no. She left around 10:30 a.m. I waited at the apartment. Around 11:15 a.m., my phone started ringing. Andrea. I didn't answer. She called 3 more times. Then Melissa texted me. She opened it. You should have seen her face. 15 minutes later, Andrea came home. She burst through the door, envelope in hand. What the hell is this? She demanded. It's exactly what it says. Cancellation confirmation for our wedding venue. You canceled our venue without talking to me? You told me marrying you makes you look like you settled. I decided to solve that problem. No wedding, no settling. Owen, you can't just cancel our wedding. I didn't cancel the wedding. I canceled the venue. But yeah, I'm canceling the wedding too. As of right now, we're not engaged anymore. She just stared at me. You're breaking up with me? Because of one comment? It wasn't one comment. It was a pattern. Months of you making me feel like I'm not enough. Like you're embarrassed of me. Like you're only with me because you couldn't find someone better. I'm done being someone's backup plan. You're not my backup plan. Then why did you say introducing you as my future wife makes you look like you settled? Why have you been comparing me to your friends' partners? Why do you care so much about how I make you look to other people?" She couldn't answer. Just stood there holding the letter and the cancellation notice. "The letter explains everything," I said. "How you've made me feel for months. How I'm tired of being treated like a disappointing choice. How I deserve someone who's proud to be with me, not embarrassed." "Owen, please. I'm sorry. I didn't realize—" "You didn't realize because you weren't thinking about me at all. You were thinking about your image, about what your friends would think, about whether I was impressive enough for your social circle. That's not love. That's social climbing. That's not fair. What's not fair is spending 3 years with someone, agreeing to marry them, then telling them they make you look bad. That's what's not fair." Update 2. Andrea didn't leave. She spent the rest of Sunday trying to convince me I was overreacting, that I was throwing away 3 years over a misunderstanding, that if I'd just give her a chance to prove she didn't really feel that way, we could work through this. "How are you going to prove it?" I asked. "By introducing me to your friends? You already had that chance, multiple chances, and you made it clear you didn't want to. I'll do it now. I'll call everyone from brunch, tell them you're my fiancé." "Don't bother. Melissa already told them. After you left the brunch in a panic, she explained to everyone what you'd said to me, about settling, about being embarrassed. Your friends know exactly why I ended things." Her face went white. "Melissa told them?" "I asked her to. You wanted to keep me hidden, make me your secret shame. I wanted your friends to know the truth about why the wedding's off. You humiliated me in front of my entire social circle. You humiliated me for months, called me unambitious, said I made you look bad, compared me to other people's partners. I just made sure your friends knew the real reason we're done." She tried for another hour to change my mind, cried, apologized, said she'd do anything, but I was done. I told her to pack a bag, stay somewhere else for a few days while we figured out living arrangements. She eventually left around 6 p.m., went to stay with her sister. Monday morning, I contacted a lawyer about untangling our finances. We'd combined some accounts, co-signed on the apartment lease. It was going to be messy, but necessary. Monday afternoon, Andrea's mother called me. "Owen, honey, what's going on? Andrea called us crying, saying you ended the engagement." "I did. Did she tell you why?" "She said you overreacted to something she said, that you're being unreasonable. She told me that being engaged to me makes her look like she's settled, that introducing her as my future wife embarrasses her because I'm not impressive enough for her friends. Those are her words, not my interpretation." Silence. Then, "She said that to you?" "Multiple times, in different ways, for months." "Oh, Owen, I'm so sorry. That's not okay. That's not how you treat someone you love." "That's what I figured. Do you think there's any chance you two can work through this?" "No. I spent months feeling like I wasn't enough, like I was some disappointment she was stuck with. I'm not going back to that." "I understand. I'm sorry it ended this way. You've always been good to our family." We talked for a few more minutes. She said she'd talk to Andrea, try to make her understand what she'd done. I appreciated it, but didn't expect it to change anything. Update 3. It's been 3 weeks since the brunch. Andrea and I are in the process of separating everything. She found a new apartment, moves in next month. I'm keeping our current place since the lease is primarily in my name, and I can afford it solo. She's tried multiple times to reconcile, sent long texts about how she's realized she was wrong, that she took me for granted, that she's been in therapy working on her issues with image and validation. I've responded politely but firmly. "It's over. There's no going back. Please respect my decision." Her friends have been divided. Some think I overreacted, that I should have given her another chance. Others, including Melissa, have sided with me. Melissa told me that after I left the brunch and she explained everything, several of Andrea's friends admitted they'd noticed her being dismissive of me, that she'd made comments before about me not being at her level. Apparently, it wasn't just in my head. The wedding venue refunded about 60% of our deposit. We lost some money, but honestly, Worth it to avoid marrying someone who saw me as a disappointing choice. Andrea sent me a letter last week. Long handwritten thing about how she knows she messed up, how she's sorry she made me feel inadequate, how she wishes she could take it back. The letter ended with, "I wasn't embarrassed of you. I was insecure about myself. I thought if you were more impressive, it would make me feel better about my own choices. I projected my issues onto you and I'm sorry." I read it twice, then I put it in a drawer. Maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe she really is working on herself. But that doesn't change what she said, doesn't change months of feeling like I wasn't enough. Final update. It's been 4 months since I ended the engagement. Andrea moved out completely about 6 weeks ago. We've had minimal contact since, just logistics about splitting shared items and closing joint accounts. Everything's finalized now. We're completely separate. I heard through Melissa that Andrea's been struggling. Lost some friends who sided with me or just got tired of the drama. Her family's disappointed in how she handled things. She's still in therapy apparently, working through whatever made her so concerned about appearances and status. I ran into her once, about 3 weeks ago, at a coffee shop near our old apartment. She was with someone. I don't know if it was a date or just a friend, but she saw me and her face went pale. I gave her a polite nod and kept walking. Didn't stop to chat, didn't engage, just acknowledged her existence and moved on. She texted me later that day. "It was good to see you. You looked happy. I'm glad." I didn't respond. My life's gotten significantly better since the split. I've reconnected with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. Started rock climbing, something I'd always wanted to try. Been dating casually. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not in a rush. I'm learning what I actually want from a partner instead of trying to be what someone else wants. The biggest change is internal. I don't second-guess myself anymore. Don't wonder if I'm ambitious enough, successful enough, impressive enough. I'm comfortable with who I am and what I've accomplished. If that's not enough for someone, they're not right for me. My brother asked me last week if I ever think about reaching out to Andrea, seeing how she's doing, maybe getting closure. My answer was no. We had closure at that brunch. She sat down and opened an envelope that told her exactly why I was done. That's all the closure either of us needed. Melissa and I still talk occasionally. She told me Andrea asked about me recently, wanted to know if I was seeing anyone. Melissa shut that down immediately. "That's not your business anymore," she'd told Andrea. "You had someone good and you made him feel like he wasn't enough. Let him move on." I appreciated that. The thing I keep coming back to is this. Andrea didn't just make one comment about settling. She revealed a pattern of thinking that had been there all along. The comments about my career, my ambition, my potential, they were all part of the same issue. She'd built this image in her head of what her life should look like, and I didn't fit that image. Instead of recognizing that the image was the problem, she tried to change me or hide me. I'm glad I found out before the wedding, before we had kids, before I spent years trying to live up to standards I was never going to meet because they were arbitrary and constantly shifting. Some people think I was too harsh, that canceling the venue and having the letter delivered at brunch was unnecessary drama, but I disagree. Andrea needed to understand that actions have consequences, that you can't treat people like disappointing accessories and expect them to stick around. The letter at brunch made sure she and her friends understood exactly why I was walking away. Would I do it differently if I could go back? Maybe I would have had a longer conversation before canceling the venue. Maybe I would have given her one more chance to apologize meaningfully. But probably not. She'd had months to apologize for the comments, to recognize she was hurting me, to change her behavior. She didn't. She only cared when I took action. I'm Owen, 33, single, living in an apartment that's all mine. Learning that being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who makes you feel small. Andrea thought I wasn't impressive enough for her friends. Turns out, she wasn't impressive enough as a partner. That's all there is to it. Edit 1. People keep asking what the letter said exactly. I kept it simple. Explained how her comments had made me feel over the past months, listed specific things she'd said, including the settled comment, and stated clearly that I was ending the engagement because I deserve someone who's proud to be with me. Attached the venue cancellation as proof I was serious. Edit 2. Yes, I did lose money canceling the venue and other wedding arrangements. Worth every penny. Would have lost a lot more divorcing someone who fundamentally didn't respect me. Edit 3. Andrea's friends from the brunch have reached out a few times, some apologizing for not noticing how she treated me, others asking if I'm really done or if there's a chance we'll reconcile. I've been clear with everyone. It's over. No reconciliation. No second chances. She showed me who she was, and I finally believed her.